If I am unhappy, I would complain, but I've never really been unhappy enough to pick up the phone or send a letter.
I haven't, no. You don't really hear about people complaining that much about things. I just think, chill out a bit. You don't need to complain all the time. I get people complaining at work, I think, oh, get over it.
I only complained about service I'd received, and it was something to do with something I was sold, and they said it would be a certain way, and it turned out it wasn't that way. So I did complain about that.
I've never ever complained about anything, to be honest. I can never be bothered. Everyone's complaining about anything and everything, yeah, totally. If they want to complain and give it what for, then that's entirely up to them, isn't it, really?
Not that I can remember. I think perhaps the British don't complain enough, and that's why some services and products, the companies get away with selling stuff that is not necessarily good enough.
Unless it particularly offends that person, I don't really see, or if they've felt personally attacked by a particular service or something. But otherwise, yeah, I think people complain too much.
I complained to Tiscali Broadband repeatedly because they promised me one thing and then never delivered. They'd promised me a cheaper rate and then they ended up cutting me off completely and then ignoring all my calls for 2 months after that.
No, I can't think that I have. I think people just need to get a sense of proportion, really. There's probably more in life than worrying about fairly insignificant things that go on in day-to-day life. You just have to get on with things and concentrate on the bigger picture, really.
There's more things to complain about and loads of things in the news at the moment that people are just not happy with.
I suppose you get vouchers and things like that, I suppose, or money off. With a credit crunch, you want to get what your money's worth, don't you?
I think the rise of the internet and other communications media makes it easier for people to complain both to the companies but to both peers and anybody else who would listen.
I think it's a lot easier for people to complain because they can do it by email or on the internet, so they can just click on a website and just type in their views, and they can do it anonymously sometimes as well. If something they don't like, then they'll want it to be taken off the telly.
I think people are getting more willing to complain because they can see that it does make an impact. Sometimes people get compensation and stuff, but I mean, I think more the point of complaining is to make a change.
People probably are more complaining in general than they ever used to be. People are a lot more aware that they've got certain rights. I think there's some sort of financial reward, or if it's a product, then maybe they get some sort of recompense over and above the value of the product.
I think people are more likely to complain now. I think it's more accepted. I think we're not so typically British anymore, so people will complain. If they're not getting a good product, not getting value for their money in the current climate, I think people will take things back. And I think as long as their complaint is valid and it's delivered properly, then what you get back, the benefit of doing that is that you get a result.